So, I normally don't do this, mostly because, um, the fact that I want to um, do these playoff recaps. But for this one, I want to make an exception because this was a national televised game, and I figured this was one of the craziest games I've seen this year so far with the Miami Marlins. I figured, you know what? Let's make this a special occasion for the Marlins because it was on Fox. It was something that I've wanted to win on national television for a couple of years. And the fact that it happened on Fox and happened against Chicago Cubs, it's something that I want to cherish, and I want to remember this by talking about it with you guys. So here's my reaction to it. Obviously, thank goodness we won this game. It gave me a lot of scare, and I would like to thank the Marlins hitting. The Marlins hitting has done its part, and that's something that I want to talk about. So, the player who comes in to make one of those early starts, by the name of Caleb Gillian, who is a Cubs minor league pitcher who got called up this year, and meanwhile, when he was having his huge struggles, so was Edward Cabrera. He gave up a 2-run home run a little bit later, and that's something I'll talk about in a moment. But for Killian, the start was a struggle. So we got a hit from Jazz, struck out Soler, and then Arise got a single. Who, by the way, he needs to be resigned. Arise needs to be resigned right now. Shit. That was an accident. And I turned on my PS4 while I'm doing this video. That's funny. Anyway, Gurriel got hit by a pitch, so right there that would load up the bases. De La Cruz got struck out swinging, and the batter who unlikely hitter of this lineup so far this year, Jesus Sanchez, who's finally getting some good reps and good hits in, has hit a ground rule double, and that gives us a 2-0 advantage over Chicago. Next up, it was a wild pitch, a very wild pitch. I like what I'm talking about. That didn't hit the ground and it went to a different way. It didn't have the fastball. I'm talking about that pitch was thrown over everyone. The batter, the catcher, and even the umpire. It went far back to the net and almost hit the guy in the pink hat. But thankfully there was a netting there. That pitch was a definition of a wild pitch. And as a result, Gurriel scored on a wild pitch right there. Segura walked afterwards. Jacob Stallings hit the baseball through center. That grounded through center. And that allowed Sanchez score to make it 4-0 already. And we're up to the point where he was up 30 pitches. And Hampson was walked on it. Jazz Chisholm was hit by a pitch in the leg. Or it looked like the ball was bounced. Was hit the dirt before it was hit. But regardless of that, Jazz was hit in that lower area of the foot or the leg, I should say. But that allows Segura to score from the hit by a pitch, and then what a good first inning that was for the Miami Marlins. But the struggle with Edward Cabrera freaks me and the rest of us out because he was throwing balls, he was throwing like not wild pitches, but out of the zone pitches, I should say. A lot of pitches were out of the zone, and as frustrating as it is, at the end of it was kind of worth it too, because we'll talk about that in a moment. So in the second inning, it was actually a decent inning despite Wisdom, who is one of the National League home run leaders. He's not the top leader, but he's like in third place or something like that. He's just over Pete Alonso, I think. He hits a home run to left, and it was a 418 feet home run. So that's kind of a nerve-wracking home run. But the next pitch, it was a strikeout swinging. Nothing happened in the second inning. Third inning, it was a struggle. It was a frustrating inning, but um, at the end, it was. Thankfully, it happened. It was a walk, and a walk, 3 walks, and I'm like, take out Cabrera. I'm done with him. Send him back to the minor leagues and help him control the command, because this was a frustrating to even watch. If you get what I mean, it was a frustrating situation to watch. I'm not happy, and the rest of the Marlins fans in the group chat was not happy at all. He proved us wrong. He struck out 2 batters in a row, not swinging. He struck out 2 batters in a row. One was swinging, the other was looking. Suzuki was struck out swinging, and Bellinger was struck out looking. Next up, Mancini granted the fielder's choice. So we got out of that jam in the big way. Bottom of the third, guess who scored a run? It was Jazz, who started off the season struggling, and he has given us a 6-2 lead. Top of the fourth, much better performance from Edward Cabrera. He struck out the side, all 3 swinging on the nasty pitches. So good for Edward Cabrera on that part. Bottom of the fourth, there was a change pitchers for the Chicago Cubs after a line out, or after the single, 2 singles actually. After that, Estrada comes in for Chicago, and then Sanchez singled to right, which will allow Arraez to score on the base hit. 7-2 Miami, and that would be the last score that Miami would score in this game. So, couple of batters was struck out, or one of them was struck out. The other one was flied out to center. Top of the fifth, despite the 1 walk, he struck out 3 batters. His career high is now 12 strikeouts in a game. 12 strikeouts on national television on Fox. So good for Edward Cabrera after rebounding on the out of the zone pitches that led to walks, and he's done it in a big way. So I'm really grateful. Next up, the offense didn't do much after the 5th inning. There was a couple of situations. Jazz actually doubled, Soler was struck out, and Arraez was actually intentionally walked. There was a good hit by Gurriel, but that was already lined out center, which was like, fuck. The next pitch, Andrew Nardi comes in. He gives up a big home run to right. 411 feet, so now it's 7-3 Chicago. So my nerves are starting to come back, and my anxiety starts to come back. Let's see. Mancini singles to right. Nardi was struggling. He couldn't get an out. He could not get an out at all. His outing was wasted because Mancini was singling. Hosmer reached on an infield single. Wisdom singled to left, and I thought that would be the score. So Brazoban had the pitch in. He struck out Rios looking. It was a big pitch. And Horner flied into the sacrifice double play. However, Mancini scored on that double play. So 7-4 Chicago on that. So we're going to skip all the way to the 8th inning because there was a 1-2-3 inning in a row, despite the 7th inning where there was a line out, there was a walk, but nothing changed there. 8th inning, Okirk. He is garbage. I don't like how he's pitching for the Marlins. I feel like he almost cost us the game with so many walks. Much like Edward Cabrera, but the difference between Edward Cabrera and Stephen Okirk is that Stephen Okirk actually got us into bigger trouble. He got us into bigger trouble, and Cabrera was actually getting us, actually got us out of the situation. And what's more frustrating about the Okirk about the Okert outing is that we actually had a chance to do a double play or get one person out. But in the Vasquez, which was a pinch hitter, grounded to fielder's choice, there was a situation where we could have gotten one of them out, but we got no one out. So fielder's choice, no one got out on that play. Frustrating. Absolute fucking frustrating. So call to the bullpen, Matt Barnes. And keep in mind, AJ Puck and Dylan Floro were not available in this game because they are already used twice in a row. So they cannot pitch in this game. They're not available. So we had to think big and think deeper. So Matt Barnes had to come in and gave up 2 runs. One was an infield single to third. So, and keep in mind, the bases were loaded. So that has nothing. It's nothing. Hosmer grounded to second. There was one out there, but Vasquez, I'm sorry. I cannot talk today because I am feeling allergies. Anyway, 7-6, Miami. Swanson fouled out to first to end the 8th inning. Thank God too, because imagine we gave up that lead after leading 5 twice. Now that's a situation I wouldn't forget, especially on national television. So, bottom of the 8th, we have gone a 1-2-3 inning. Vallecas, I'm sorry. It was Vallecas. Sorry, Chicago. So we'll skip over to the 9th inning, where Tanner Scott, who's been playing and pitching better than I expected from last season, he comes in to close out the game, to be a closer for tonight or today, and try to close us out. Happ grounded to shortstop, which was a nice play by our eyes. Suzuki had to actually got a base hit on that. Bellinger struck out swinging. That was huge. Warmer out. We're getting all anxious. Mancini struck out swinging. And we won this game 7-6 on Fox. So, normally I would not do a reaction like this if it was like an average baseball game or anything like that. Just like a normal baseball game on Bally Sports or something like that. But this was on Fox. And this was a good game to watch as a neutral or baseball fan, or just happened to watch these teams. So with that, I had to make this reaction video. And the reason why I was so late, because I had folks over and I was watching the Inter Miami game, which, by the way, thank God Inter Miami won, because it was a nightmare. Might not lose week, but we're talking about the Marlins here. So tomorrow we go for the sweep again, and we're 2 or 3 games over 500, which is a good thing because we were out the 500 from that Atlanta series, and it was good. It's good to be back in the 500 series once again. So my worry for the Miami Marlins is that when it hits May or June, we hit that collapse of the season, which is not good. I don't want that to happen this season. This season feels different. What you can do, resign, or not resign, give Luis Ariz the extension contract. Resign him into an extension to keep him in Miami for a long time, because we haven't seen quite the hitter since the time that Giancarlo Stanton was part of the Marlins, and Christian Yelich, Marcelo Zuna, JT Realmuto too. Most of them went to the World Series. Marcelo Zuna went to the World Series. JT Realmuto went to the World Series. Stanton did not yet. And I say yet because he was close a few times. Yelich, closest was 2018. And he hit a few cycles for the Bruins team. Imagine him hitting cycles for the Marlins. We eventually got a cycle. I already made a video about that. But I digress. It is what it is. I just want to come by and talk about that. I know it's late. I know that it's just like an average. Hey, why are you talking about this? Well, because it was a Fox game, national television. And I want to be positive about something. So that's going to do it for this video, folks. If you have liked this video, Hit the like button, subscribe more content because Miami TVG has it back. And when he does, he'll be right there with you for the entertainment you deserve. This is Miami TVG signing up, folks. Good night, everybody.